This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Sagar Kapoor. I'm a part of Tableau customer success team, and welcome to VizConnect. So VizConnect is all about connecting you with the art of data visualization and storytelling. So just to tell you more about VizConnect, in VizConnect, we have hosted close to 23 sessions in which there had been 28 speakers, 7 of them were the Tableau Zen Masters. We had close to 4,000 plus attendees. We do have a Tableau YouTube channel, so all the sessions which are presented on VizConnect are recorded on the YouTube channel. You can go ahead and see the session over there. We also have a LinkedIn group in which we have 600 plus members in which people are connecting and sharing their knowledge over there. I will share the link with you after the session today. And this has all been possible because of our amazing Tableau community. So thanks a lot for everyone for coming ahead and presenting on VizConnect. So as I said that, we have a YouTube library. Go ahead and see all the sessions if you have missed over there. We also have a great community on the LinkedIn. Go ahead and join that. With that, let me introduce to our speaker today, and it has been an honor and pleasure to welcome Sarah Barnett. So Sarah is a true Tableau evangelist who enjoys building up strong Tableau teams through mentoring. She co-leads the Singapore Tableau user group and is a social Tableau ambassador. With a passion for data literacy, design thinking, and an eye for visualization, Sarah is striving to shake things up in the world of finance. And the fun fact about her is that she loves to travel and hopes to visit Sweden and Iceland this year, which will nicely bring the number of countries she traveled to match her age. With that, over to you, Sarah.
Thanks for that, Saga. I take it everyone can hear me, which is fine. I've just seen
Yes.
my Facebook notifications, unfortunately, are turning up on the page that I'm presenting on, but it's okay. So I am Sarah Barnett. I am currently head of data democratization at a large financial institution here in Singapore. This month, I'm celebrating my 5th year in Singapore. I'm originally from New Zealand, and I co-lead the Singapore Tableau user group, and I am a Tableau social ambassador for the 2nd time running. I have been a featured author on Tableau Public. I am an avid Twitterer. You can find me at SaysB. And I have also had, sorry,
Sarah, I think your screen is not shared if you're sharing your screen. Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay, let me do that again.
Perfect, you're good to go, yeah.
Okay, great. And I've had the pleasure of attending 4 Tableau conferences now, and I do like speaking at public events, so I'm really excited to do this one virtually. And in 2018, I did all 52 Makeover Mondays, which really elevated me in terms of my knowledge with Tableau. So on to today's session. Making an impact with your Viz Design. So let's get started. Maybe a bit of the goriness will come on. So I would like you guys to all get out your phones and come on Kahoot. Now you can do this just by typing in kahoot.it, or you can follow the QR code there. And I'm just going to open that up and let's see. So if everyone can open up and can click on this code, we can get started. So I've been a little bit secretive with today's topic. I didn't want anyone pre-guessing this. Give it a minute more or two. Okay, so let's get started. Yeah. Saga, are you okay if I get started now, or should I give it? Oh, we're getting some more.
I think we can wait for just a few minutes, maybe 3 to
Sure.
5 minutes. I think people are joining in. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe Sarah, you can just go ahead and show the QR code. Maybe they can go ahead and join it again.
So if you can just type kahoot.it is all you need to do on any browser, and then enter in that game pin. I think there's a bit of music as well. Maybe we can play. Not seem to be working. Okay, maybe not. So yeah, just go into kahoot.it and enter the game pin, which is 596624. Okay, let's kick off. Okay, so we're going to have 9 questions on a big topic at the moment, coronavirus. Approximately how many cases of coronavirus? Okay. Can everyone still hear me? Approximately how many cases of the coronavirus are there globally? 10,000, 100,000, or 1 million? Okay, great. So we've got around 100,000 cases. So 7 people got that right. That's great. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Sarah.
Okay, great. I think I just was being blasted by the music, and I'm not sure now how to turn it off. So let's see. Okay, let's go for the next question. Oh, T-Rex, right up there. Next question. Approximately how many people have died of coronavirus? Wow, I think we've got an onto it crowd today. Okay, next question. Oh, here we got T-Rex. Yeah. Outside of mainland China, excluding cruise boats, which 3 countries have the largest amount of confirmed cases? Japan, Italy, Singapore, Italy, South Korea, Iran, Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore. Nice. I think people have been watching a lot of media here. Okay. T-Rex, you got Priya on your tail there. Next question. What is the current fatality rate of the coronavirus? Less than 5%, between 5 and 15, or greater than 15%? A bit more mixed there, but yes, the answer is less than 5%. Okay, got a few competing there for the top spot. How long has it been since the first confirmed case of coronavirus? 24 days, 44 days, or 104 days? It has actually been 44 days. The first case was around the 20th of January. Oh, we have a new front runner. Of the confirmed cases reported globally, approximately what percentage have fully recovered? We've got 5%, 25%, or 55%. Nice. Okay, bit of a mixed bag there, but yes, the answer is 55%. What is the best form of prevention from the coronavirus? Regular hand washing, wearing a face mask, or there is no prevention? Kind of liking the music now. Wow, I'm impressed. Regular hand washing is correct. So I've seen some great photos of different masks that are being used out there too. Approximately how many people left Wuhan before the city went into lockdown? 50,000, 500,000, or 5 million? So that was a bit of a tricky one. It was actually 5 million people, which is pretty astounding. Okay, now for the last question. Approximately how many people outside of China have died from coronavirus? 340, 3,400, or 34,000? Yeah, that was pretty well received. So it is 340,000. So let's see who our winner was. So in third place, Pravali. In second place, T-Rex. And in first place, Manjul. So congratulations, Manjul. I will be talking a little bit more around what that means later on. Okay, so let me exit out of the music there and come back to. So why today am I focusing on coronavirus? So I think, as I said earlier on, I'm based in Singapore, as I think a few of you are that I know are on the call today, and our lives have been changed quite dramatically, although I realise probably not as much as they have been in mainland China. But just some things that we are experiencing here is our business continuity planning, meaning most offices at the moment have been forced into Team A and Team B, meaning that only one team can be in the office at a time, and we swap over on a week-by-week basis. The impact on my son's schooling at the moment means that he is also forced to have restrictive playtimes. There's no assemblies. Most events, more than 25 people in Singapore, have been cancelled. So it is quite a big impact on our lives. And I think as well, you know, a lot of us are not only thinking about the people that are suffering in the world because of it, but also, you know, how that's going to impact long term. So that's a little bit about why I kind of was interested in visualizing some of this that you'll see today. So the first visualization that I'm going to walk you through is one of my global ones. So I published this up yesterday, and it is on global data. So I'm just going to kind of talk you through my Viz Design. So here, this is COVID-19, and the data was updated until yesterday, which I think is the most readily available data that I had globally. And here you can see the number of confirmed cases. Sorry, I've had this open for a while, so it's just going to do a reboot. And I really wanted to kind of focus on some of the things that I saw, a few people didn't, that we're kind of, maybe the media quite often focuses on the kind of sensationalism of the situation. And what we're seeing here, I'm just going to open it. Refresh. Is, what we're seeing is the number of recovered actually now outweighs the number of those that are hospitalized, and definitely, thank goodness at this stage, the number of deaths. I wanted to do quite a big call out here in terms of looking at the numbers and also to graphically represent that. So in building this kind of impactful, I kind of pulled on this kind of dark and maybe gloomy kind of blood red color for my title, and I'll talk you a little bit and kind of demonstrate later on how I did that title. And then we can see that I've got some big as numbers, or as some of you and I know, we like to call them bands. So really honing in on the numbers there, looking at the confirmed, death, hospitalized and recovered. Now what you'll see also is I've kept the colors really consistent throughout the visualization. So you can see here, without needing an additional legend, that you can see, looking at the hospitalized, in this example that is red, and that is depicted below in the red line. Recovered is blue, and then the deaths are in the black. I also wanted to just show the overall trend, so the number of confirmed, which is obviously a addition of the three that are in the lines. And I just thought this was a smart and clever way of demonstrating that in the data. So if we pan down further, I also wanted to kind of just hone in on what's happening in mainland China versus other countries. So here I've also kept the colors really consistent with what we can see above. So again, just looking at the numbers, so you can see that over 82% of the cases that have been confirmed are in mainland China. The other countries represented there is just under 18%. And then again, looking at the kind of the deaths, the hospitalized and the recovered there. I also wanted to kind of go down and have a look at the small multiples. So in this example here, you'll see I've decided to break it down by, break it down by small multiples and really just hone in on the countries there. So here you can see at the moment, in terms of confirmed cases, we have Korea, which is very high in its cases. A lot of them are still hospitalized and very few recovered. Additional to this, I also wanted to include that visualization that we saw before as a Viz and Viz tooltip. So here I'm giving that same snapshot that you can see above, just as a visual representation. Yeah. So here you can really see, when you hone in on China, the day when they reset the baseline there for the number of cases that had been confirmed, and therefore increasing those that were hospitalized. What's also interesting is you can see around day, I think 39, how actually the number of cases that had recovered had outweighed those that were hospitalized. Additionally to showing the Viz and Viz tooltip there, I also show it here. See it there? And here we can see, is that showing Singapore? Oh, I must have been a little bit lower down. Okay, here we can see South Korea. And I think we can all kind of relate to around day 30 when South Korea started releasing its numbers, and it's really escalated since then. Honing in here a little bit on Singapore as an example. We can see it was actually around, I think, day 32 when the number of recovered outweighed those that were hospitalised. And in Singapore, to date, there have been no deaths so far. So showing this in small multiples was a really, I thought, nice way of showing it. And then I just had a little bit more of the goriness at the bottom there. So where did I go to getting this data? So a colleague of mine actually sent me a great link on GitHub. And I'm just going to kind of go in there, have a look. The data that was available over time series was broken into 3 CSV files, so confirmed, deaths, and recovered. And what I did from here is simply just clicked on the file, got it as raw, and then simply just right-clicked here and save as. And what that did is it downloaded it as a CSV file. So luckily for me, these 3 CSV files were all in identical format. The only thing that differed was that they were of different categories. So the recovered, the confirmed, and the deaths. What I did then is I actually took it into Tableau Prep. And I really quickly built a flow that looked into these. So step 1 was I got the 3 files and I did an initial clean on them. And what that clean did was I just added a simple column there called status. And that allowed me just to say what the file was depicting. So whether it was recovered, deaths, or confirmed. From that point, I actually unioned those tables together. And like I said, I was really lucky. The format was the same. What the files did have, and I'll just come in here and show you, is so it had it listed by the province, the country, it had the latitude and the longitude as well. And then it had the dates, but it had it all across. So you can see up until yesterday, it's got the dates. So what I did here in Tableau Prep, and it was pretty easy, is I did a pivot. So what I effectively did, let's see if I can just have a little bit of space here, is I grabbed all the dates and I pivoted them. And I just gave them a name of the date. And then I did sum. I think the next step is I did a little bit of a clean, looked at the fields, and then I did a final aggregation to give me what my table would look like. And then I think I just did a final clean, and then I put an output into a hyperfile. Let's just quickly have a look at what that hyperfile looks like here. So what we've got is we've got the date, we've got the province or state, which was sometimes there and sometimes not, the region, the longitude and the latitude. And now I've got the counts by confirmed, recovered, and then the deaths. From there, what I did is I went in and built the visualization. Now, one other piece that I didn't actually walk you through in terms of what this visualization does is it also has a set action built into it. So if I hover over any of these dates, you will see all the data is updated. So if I'm interested maybe in what was happening here when China reset their baseline, you can see on this particular day, fun, isn't it? That when that happens, thanks Tableau Public. Here we go. If we can see what was happening on the day 22, which was a Wednesday, the 12th of February, you can see there was 45 confirmed cases. And now if we go to the next day, everyone's on Tableau Public. Yeah, so it jumped up to 60,000. So quite a massive jump there. And we can actually see that around that time outside of China, it was the Diamond Princess cruise ship that had the most dates. And with the help of using set actions, you can see there that the numbers have updated, and you can see that the chart is what the chart is referring to there. So when I think about visual design, I really think about how can I give a clear story without really overcrowding the visualization. So you'll see here, I've consciously made an effort not to have too much overwhelming information. I've really just honed in on what I felt is of interest, and really keeping to those consistent colors so people can see and reference easy on that. So going back into the design, I think I've kept this pretty clean for the purposes. So there's a couple of things here that I've done. The title, I wanted that to be, I wanted that to update. So that's actually in white, but that references here, the day 44. The dates, which the dates is actually this kind of this chart that governs most of the information. And you can see here that I've applied a set, and it really was just a simple date set. If we come in here, it was just selecting a date, and then I've just colored on this example if it is in the date set. Just see here quite simply, just it equals the date set there. So little trick that if you just type that in, it'll automatically set it as a Boolean, and you don't have to do like equals true or anything else if that's what you're looking for. Another piece here, which I really love, and this is a top tip that I got from the last conference, is how do I get my bands or my big ass numbers into a single sheet? You'll see here that I've managed to color them differently, and on the first one as well, I've actually managed to completely have different information, different sizes and things like that, and that's a really great trick by effectively just having multiple, whether it's sum zero or I sometimes see index, depending on what you're trying to put on the same sheet. So that's a really great trick, and you can see here it's just giving me that flexibility to kind of go in and own what each individual piece of the text looks like. I think that's really powerful. The other piece is I've come in and I've built this this chart, this bar chart. It was actually really hard to design this Viz for a couple of reasons, and that's because mainland China is overwhelmingly the biggest portion of it. So, you know, it took me a little while to kind of work out how to do this in the most effective way. And I even kind of toyed with factoring some of the numbers. So like trying to like maybe make the other countries look a little bit bigger just so you could see a bit more. But then I decided that I wanted to stay true to the data, and I wanted to show, you know, in this example, and remember we are looking around day 22 here, that, you know, almost you might as well say 100% of the cases were in mainland China. The last piece was on the small multiples. Now, small multiples is a really great way to display a lot of data at the same time. And I think some kind of tricks that I learned along the process of this was how could I automatically get my X and my Ys? And there's a great trick from Zen Master, Hall of Famer, Andy Kriebel. I must admit, when I am Googling something for Tableau and I see Andy's written a Viz, I know that I'm in safe hands because I know he explains it super easily. This is the one that I looked, you know, I could like read down and straight away I needed a column divider, a row divider. I cut and pasted this and pretty much it worked like a dream, right? So all I really did was, you'll just see here and edit. That's all I did. I basically got his row divider and his column divider. I threw that in. I think the last little trick I had to do was I had to do a compute using the level that I wanted, which in this case was the country province one, and that was it. Then the next piece I struggled with was the sort order. So quite often, you know, we see sort order get a little bit mixed up. So in this example, I went back to Google again, and I found a great forum blog here, someone that was struggling with a similar problem. I kind of came in this example, I actually ended up downloading the dashboard. I learned a few things about rank and setting up a set action in order to do that, which was great. And then I think even further down, Ken chimed in and said, what about animating it with set actions, which kind of gave me that idea of doing the set actions. So two great resources I find, definitely Andy Kriebel for anything Zen Master Hall of Fame worthy, and then the Tableau forums as well, like a great source of knowledge there. So just going back to here. So yeah, those are the kind of key learnings that I got on this one. I loved building this Viz. The data was nice and clean. You don't always get that, but yeah, it was a great build. I hope you guys look at it. I have got the QR code, which I'll share at the end of this, so you guys can go on and have a little dig around yourselves. So we've kind of and through that. So I actually built another Viz as well. So let's go in and have a look at that one. Okay. So now I really wanted to focus on Singapore. And here you can see, as of yesterday, there's 117 confirmed cases. In this example, we don't have any deaths. And because I'm not showing these Vizes I normally side by side, I've used the critical as the black color here, kept with hospitalized and recovered in those colors. Additionally to this, I kind of wanted to add a little bit of text around Singapore. And Singapore also has their DORSCON level, which has been raised from red to yellow, sorry, from green to yellow and now on to orange. So I just wanted to highlight that. And there I've just included a little bit of information around what Singapore relates to when they're saying that they're in these different codes. Here I wanted to really look at the number of cases per day. So I just did a chart here, and then looking at the recovered as well. And you can see here, so yeah, around I think around the 21st of February, the number of recovered outweighed the number of those that were hospitalized. I was able to get a lot more information from Singapore on a case-by-case basis. So here I've kind of just talked in detail. We can see the nationalities, the ages of people. We can also see when they have recovered. So I just thought to include a little additional information on kind of the days to recovery. And you can see the red circle there are the ones that are still hospitalized. And again, kind of just sticking with the theme there. So then after that, so getting the data for this one was a little bit harder, and it's probably, I didn't dig around as much, but here in Singapore, we can actually get a WhatsApp. So the government gives us a access to a kind of a one-way WhatsApp feed, and that gives us updates. I think they now send 3 a day, which gives us like a status update on what's happening around the coronavirus. Additional to that, there is also the website, which gives a lot of detailed information around clustering, who's connected to who, kind of and updates on the cases. So really a lot of information is provided here in Singapore. So going into the visualization build here. So here you can see similar, I've gone in with the same kind of title visualization, which I will talk you through. In this example, I've actually got these separate. So I thought what would be good is if maybe I would show you how I was talking about having the bands all together, because I can have these together. So let's just go on and have that. So in this example here, I've got this sum to 0. So what I can do if I want to add an additional band is I can simply add this in here at the beginning. And then if I wanted to say on this additional one here, I wanted to have text as a number. Let's just see what's going on here. And maybe have some text. Let's see. And reduce the size of that. And here you can see quite easily, I've now got, let's just make that stand out. And there you can see quite easily, I have now put that into one sheet. Now you may wonder, like, why would I want to do that? Now, there's a couple of reasons. One of them is it's a lot easier to manage a single sheet at a time. So here, if I want to move them around, it's a lot easier to do that. And also, Tableau would recommend to reduce the number of sheets as much as possible in terms of making those performant. So I think that's a really good use case there. This one is still for me a little bit of a work in progress, so I didn't feel that comfortable about sharing it today. To me, it's not perfect. I don't really have any. I don't have any actions built in. I did go down a bit of a rabbit hole of looking at animation and how I could, really leverage that. But I did run out of time, so please don't hate me for that. We can't do it all sometimes. But what I would like to show you now is how I did the background. So I've actually just recorded a little video here. So let's just look at how I do this. So this is on my iPad and I use a tool called Procreate. I go in and I'm just going to pause that for a minute. I go in and I publish the workbook up to the server, Tableau public server. Then I go and do an image download and I save that in my photos. So this is me just picking up the image from my photos. From then I go in and I add some text. In this example, I think I'm just adding coronavirus here. And the reason I did, I'm just going to pause again. The reason I wanted to add the text here and not in Tableau is Tableau is actually limited to about 6 or 8 different text fonts. And I've seen some disasters where you've gone and built it and you've used an amazing font and then it gets published up to server and then kind of something awful happens and it goes and defaults to Times Old Roman or something that, that I haven't seen in a Viz for quite a while. So do be cautious when you're publishing to Tableau Public and even Tableau Server, what kind of fonts you are using. I think there's a great document somewhere where someone talks about them. We personally, and myself, I'm a big fan of Tableau Medium, Tableau Light for tooltips. And yeah, just because I know that that's going to work well on the servers, and it's not going to play with anything. But for this particular example, I wanted to actually use Impact. So here I'm just going in and selecting that. And in Procreate, you can do a lot of different things. I'm not affiliated Procreate at all, but it is a great tool. I think I paid $10 once like 3 years ago, and I use it a lot. It's a great tool. It's got loads of different brushes. I do have an iPad pencil as well, so this piece is using that. Look at all the brushes that you can use. You can do like a million things that I don't understand with brushes. It's got pressuring as well, so kind of the darker I push with my pencil, I can go in and change the color. So here I'm just simply kind of adding in my colors, and this is like as roughly as I did it. And then I just went in and did some kind of, I think I just made sure the color, the text was all covered up there. And then I went in and simply just did kind of a selection. It's really cool. I went and inverted that selection, and then I think I just did like a clipping mask or something like that in order to remove basically the text as a selection there. And then because I was working in layers, which is similar to Photoshop, at the end, all I needed to do was hide the visualization layer, and I think I hid the background layer as well. And I just saved that as a PNG. And then I just put that as my background image in Tableau. So that's really all I did there. Now it does come with one caveat, and that is when you have a background image in Tableau, unfortunately right now it means I had to float everything on top of that image. So this is my image, and you'll see that everything here is now floated. Now, it wasn't originally floated. I only had, I think, 7 or 8 different text boxes. So for me, it wasn't the end of the world. Basically, what I did is I came in here, I copied all these coordinates on each of the fixed locations. And then I went in and I floated them all and I recopied those coordinates. So I didn't really have to think. But it is something to be cautious of. In hindsight, I could have done it as 2 images, and I could have just floated maybe the top half and then maybe just floated the bottom. One other thing I want to point out is definitely if you're using other people's data, then do give credit for that. It's really important, I think. Yeah, and so I did say I would share the 2 visualizations. They are up on Tableau Public. The QR codes are there. They are a little bit clunky on a phone. They are big visualizations, but the codes are there, and I will now make them public on my site as well. Now, Manjul, as the winner of the Kahoot, sorry, I think that QR code is just going to take you back to Kahoot. You don't need to go back there. I would like to extend a session with you. So if maybe if Saga could give me your contact details, either email or WhatsApp, and we can maybe if you're interested, we can do a 60-minute session where I can review your visualizations for you or give you any tips and tricks. And with that, I think we are open for Q&A.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Sarah. I think congratulations, Manju. I think that's a great opportunity. And I will go ahead and share the details with you, Sarah, about it. Okay. So with that, I think you can go ahead and ask your questions in the comment section or Q&A tab. Before that, Sarah, I think the first thing which I saw in all your visualization was about colors. Can you talk about colors, like how exactly you go ahead and decide which particular color you have to choose for your visualization?
Yeah, and that's a really great question, actually, and I probably should have covered it in a bit more detail. So I use, predominantly I use this site. There's 2 sites I use, actually. Coolers. It's a great site, I find, for generating color palettes. So what you can do, it's free to use, coolers.co. You can come in here and it will kind of bring you up some colors, and you can basically just hit spacebar until you are inspired by a color palette. And then if you're looking for something, you can kind of lock that color in and you can just keep looking. And what you can also do is you can have a look at alternative shades. If you wanted to change the color, you can have a look at all these things, and you can just kind of keep looking until you find a palette that suits your needs. The other thing is also to be really cautious of color blindness. I think we get drilled into us a lot around, you know, using the red and green and to kind of keep away from those. So just bear in mind that a lot of people are colorblind. It's actually quite a high statistic, particularly in older men. So I know it's International Women's Day today, and we are all striving to you know, get the gender equality there. But you know, in the world that we live in, a lot of male men are my stakeholders in terms of executives. So it's something that we have to be cautious of in our day-to-day job. So this is a really great site, I find, for using. I've got some horrible colors selected there. But yeah, it's just, you know, you can hit spacebar until you find some inspiration. I think as well, there's a lot of palettes that are already sitting there. And then another site, yeah, I think you can go in and kind of look at other people's palettes as well. I can't remember exactly where to go. Maybe Explorer, I think you can kind of go in and look at what other people have set up. So when I do get a color palette that I like, yeah, so there's quite a few colors going on here. When I get a color palette that I like, I will go in and I will add it to my preferences. So a wee while ago, I did a color palette on murder color palettes. I did an article on murder in New Zealand, and this was the palette that I used. So these are really good. Like there's the kind of standard color palettes, and then there's diverging and sequential. So I really recommend if you're using a lot of, you've got a color palette, you've chosen it and you want to use it, then add it into your preferences. It's really easy to do.
Okay, thanks a lot. And I think in your introduction, you talked about mentoring, right? So can you talk more about it? How exactly you're doing that? And I think that's a great way for everyone who are starting their career with Tableau, some advice on that also.
What was the word? Sorry, I missed that.
I was saying that in your introduction, we talked about you're mentoring a lot of people on Tableau and data visualization and storytelling. Can you share some advice to the people?
Yeah, sure. So I do refer back to Andy Kriebel again, and you know, I think he's published like 1,000 vizzes now, and he's done maybe 200 blogs, and he actually started blogging because he wanted a suppository for him to have his kind of learnings there. And I think for me, mentoring helps me to retain my own knowledge as well. And it's just something that I really enjoy doing is getting in there and kind of, you know, seeing people grow and change in the way that they may think things through in terms of visualization.
Wow, thank you. And I have one question from Tanushri. So she is asking, how do you get the ideas of what chart type you would use to visualize the data?
So I think, you know, being in a very financial corporate environment, we don't get to push the boundaries a lot, and so getting into Tableau Public allows you to do that more. And also using Tableau, you know, quite often if I'm starting a visualization, I will really just, you know, kind of get in and get dirty with the data. You know, if I've got a great data set, you can really just build and build and build visualizations until something makes sense. Now you'll see here that in this example, the visualization that I've used is really not that complicated. And I find a lot, and particularly in business, my go-to charts are bar charts and line charts because I don't have to explain them. So, you know, It's not always, like sometimes I like to go on, go on Tableau Public and create something a bit crazy because I want to see if I can do it or if it's going to, make sense. But you've also got to think about your audience. And another powerful thing around visualization and design is it should stand on its own. So it shouldn't need someone to talk through what it means.
And Meera is asking, how long did you take to build the vizes which you have shown today? So I think I will add one more follow-up question. Whom do you reach out to for feedback when you are creating a particular dashboard or a visualization?
Sure. Okay, so I ummed and ahed about these visualizations for a very long time, and Meera knows this only so well because I have the pleasure of working with Meera again. So she's kind of been through some of this pain with me. Interestingly, though, this visualization I started on Tuesday night. So I had the Singapore-based one, and I wasn't that happy with it. So I started this new one. And then in terms of feedback, this time I actually just went to Meera. So there we go.
Wow, that's great, yeah. I'm just seeing the question. Meera, if you want to ask any question, you can just unmute yourself, yeah?
I think she's too shy too now. I do have a website. I'm a infrequent blogger, but I do have a few links up there of things, my takeaways from conferences, some great YouTubes that I think are worth looking at. I am on Twitter, so it says B.
One more question, Sarah.
Yes, Meera.
So what's your next plan? Your database. What is it going to be about?
Well, do you know, so for those of you who know about my finding a unicorn, my interview process can be quite long-winded, and I always give a coffee data set. And I have for so long, over the years, I've used this data set to hire many people, and I cannot finish that Viz. I'm almost calling it my nemesis, my coffee nemesis Viz. So I would like to finish that one. For the next week or so, I will be taking a little bit of a break and heading back to New Zealand. So I may not be visiting in the near future. But yeah, stay tuned for the coffee Viz to end all coffee Vizes.
Wow, that sounds interesting, yeah.
And just one more final plug. I am a member of the Singapore Tableau user group. You can join us on LinkedIn there. Obviously, with the current coronavirus situation, we are being asked to do all Tableau user groups virtually. That's a global request at the moment for the month of March. I know, well, I think that David was on this earlier, if he's still here or not. So I co-lead that with David Murphy, Celine and Jar. We are doing one, I think, on the 24th of March, and it's virtual. So it's going to be open to anyone to join that. So that's a little plug from our user group community. I'll leave that open.
I think I can just ask the last question and we can finish it up. I think any advice for the people you want to give who are building their career in Tableau, how exactly they should approach and what they should concentrate on, the three things according to you are most important?
So I think when you're kind of new in Tableau, I did a lot of stuff. Like when I did my Makeover Mondays, I time boxed myself to, I think, as long as my old MacBook would last for, which was maybe 2.5, 3 hours, which may seem like a long time, I'm not sure, but on a Monday evening. And, you know, I spent a lot of time downloading, reverse engineering, on YouTube, on the forums, everywhere, just working out how to do things in the best way. So a lot of looking around. If you're looking for feedback, I think Twitter is a great place to go to. There's, put things out there. It's a great community to be involved in. People are really open to help. Find people, maybe, offer some of your own feedback as well, and just get amongst it. There's loads of social community events. There's Makeover Monday, there's Workout Wednesday, there's Sports Viz Sunday, there's Viz Social, Health Viz, there's Viz for Social Good. There's just like this endless world, and even, have a look on Tableau Public. Find a Viz, maybe an author that inspires you, and if they're on Twitter, maybe reach out to them and just talk to them about what they're doing and how they've done their things.
So with that, thanks a lot, Sarah. I think it was a pleasure to have you on VizConnect, and thank you for talking and sharing with us your knowledge about how to make an impact with the Viz. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. With that, wish you a great weekend ahead. Enjoy yourself and stay safe. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend.